Now, forgive me if I seem to be a pompous asshole.
That sounds like the understatement of the week, but since I'm a nice guy, I'll forgive you.
You know what I'm saying? I know my place in the world, you know? And I'm not thinking of myself as being a greater than thou guy. Believe me. But it just seems to me that I don't have to be a writer, okay, to know what audiences would want of certain characters. There is some things that are given. Characters like Indiana Jones, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Darth Vader. Okay, let's say Darth Vader. Okay, Optimus Prime, Megatron. There are certain things that I would just assume that are given of what the audience want. It's not like we're starting out as cavemen and we don't know what the population of the masses look for in a movie. Come on.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you on that, and here's why. First of all, if it's an original screenplay with original characters, how are audiences supposed to know what to expect with certain characters when this is their introduction to said characters? Secondly, if instead it's an adaptation with characters already established, there's always the chance that some audiences will not be familiar with these characters, and thus the film might be their introduction to these characters. You see at where I'm getting at with this?
So the bottom line I'm trying to say is there are no excuses. There is not an excuse for the garbage being produced and given to you now. There are no... Okay, the strike happened in what? 2008, 2007? Right? 2009? Whatever. What's the excuse now? What's the excuse for all the garbage that has been produced since 2009? I could go onto the internet right now and I find you the date that the strike was over.
I don't know what you're talking about, good sir, because last I checked, there were plenty of great movies, screenplays from 2009 up to now. So yeah, like I said, don't generalize the movie industry. Now another point I should say to you is this. The truth is, it's not always the screenwriter's fault. In reality, it's more likely the producer's fault for coming up with weak material for the screenwriter to work with. But if it's not their fault, then it's the director's fault for taking the screenplay in a poorly conceived direction. I could continue on with this, but I want to get my point across. A film is a collaborative project with multiple people working on it, and to blame it on just one of the collaborators is rather injustice in the grand scheme of it all. Anyway, let's see what else this guy has to say.
What is it with? 2009, 2010, 2011. It's 2012 now. 4 fucking years. Well, 3, if you don't include 2012. 3 fucking years. What's the excuse for all the movies that have come out since 2009? Since the damn strike was over. What's going on with the Writers Guild of America? For real.
Please refer back to my previous point. Thank you very much.
And if anybody can be a fucking writer, sign me fucking up. By myself. By myself. And in the past I have attempted to write scripts, but, you know, it's not my forte. But by myself, I can write a decent script for Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Transformers. Shit! Just about every major franchise. With the little bit of knowledge I have, I can make a decent script for it. Come on, test me, try me. I'll write you something. If Hollywood's all about money, and you want to see the bucks, hire me. 'Cause I'll give you the fucking bucks.
Very well then, how about you write the screenplay for the next Chronicles of Narnia film? I believe the next one will be The Silver Chair, and I would like you to adapt that book into a script. Do you think you can do that? Because let me tell you, it's not always easy. The thing with a screenplay is that if they are an adaptation, the screenwriter needs to be familiar with the source material, and therefore come up with a script that does its source great justice. But if you're not familiar with the source material, then I'm afraid you are making promises you can't keep when you make a claim like this. So please, be careful with what you promise.
You will be so drowned by money, it'll come out of your asses. You won't even fucking believe it, the shit I would do.
Let's not visualize, just let's move on, shall we?
Anyway, for me personally, the problem with Hollywood right now is the talent behind the writing. For me, they suck dick. And I know a lot of you out there, and maybe even some writers might see this and be offended. But the bottom line is this. Take all the movies that have come out in 1 year, right? What we're going to see is the consistency of bad writing over good writing. The good writing is a small smidgen. And usually it's always the same people putting out the good shit.
Would you care to give us some examples of this claim? If you did, then maybe I could take into consideration what you are saying.
What the fuck is going on? If 95% of the writing sucks and only 5% is good, what the fuck is going on? You need to ask yourself your questions. These questions, if you're a real serious fan of the films coming out. If you really consider yourself a fan of these movies, for real, ask yourself the question. Alright. That's all I wanted to say. Support Talkback. Become a member, alright? Listen to what they have to say. It's very important that you make yourself heard.
I think I'll pass for now, but thank you for the generous offer.
Peace.
And that's the end of the video. Now here is my final verdict. My main problem with this rant was that HollywoodRape generalized all of the screenwriters in Hollywood and claimed that most of them are terrible, and I think that's rather unfair of him. And of course, my next biggest problem was that he didn't seem to understand that a film is a collaborative project and that multiple people work on it, and to blame it all on the screenwriter is not fair either. So here's my main advice. Cut the screenwriter some slack, man. They're just doing their jobs. Plus, there are plenty of good screenplays out there, so why not just watch the movies that have well-written screenplays? And my last problem was that he seemed rather ignorant with regards to George Lucas being the screenwriter for both the Star Wars prequels and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, my advice to you is this. Do some research on George Lucas, and then I suggest you do a rant on George Lucas as a screenwriter. It seemed like you had a big problem with George Lucas, and I think if you got your facts straight about Lucas as a screenwriter, and I'm sure that a rant on him as a screenwriter would actually turn out well. So yeah, that's something to think about. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, and now I will end with something that will make HollywoodRape very, very angry. Enjoy.
Oh no, Adrian! Looks like the Reds are polluting the city lake! What do we do?
We call the Watchmen!
Strong together, united forever, they're the best of friends. But when trouble's about, you'd best watch out for the Watchman.
Now is their leader, and he loves to party down. Rorschach's rents to the animals.
Yeah, when he's not clowning around.
Why, nutty!
Beat up some thugs, say no to drugs, be in bed by 10. But if trouble's about, you'd best watch out for the Watchman.
Spectre's a sensation, you should really never miss. The comedian's your biggest fan now.
If I could only get that kiss.
OCM, pure bastards, couple of crime soul superstars. John can give you cancer, and they'll turn into a car.
Strong together, united forever, come and meet your friends. Have no fear, time's up, time's here for the Watchmen.